Lots of people feel like that solving a Rubik's Cube is too hard, or even as far as to say almost impossible. But I'm here to say, no, you can solve this if you know what you're doing. So the first step is to make a layer like this, have a face and all of these colors matching on the sides. And then the next step is to have all of these last layer corners permuted correctly. So for example, orange and red are opposite colors, and this has yellow and green on it, and this also has yellow and green, blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and white, and then green and yellow, green and yellow. So they're all in the correct placement. And from there, you can solve the cube with step number 3. Now, before I get too far, I just want you guys to memorize this algorithm. So you bring the right side up, turn the top with your right hand, bring the right side down, then turn the top with your left hand. This is the 4-move sequence, and we're going to be using it in steps 1 and 3. It'll make things a lot easier. So let's try it again. Right side up, turn the top with your right hand, right side down, turn the top with your left hand. Now, you keep on repeating this, and if you do it 6 times, it'll return to its original state, which in this case is solved. So just keep on cycling through 6 times until you have this memorized, because we are going to be using that algorithm a lot for the 2x2 Rubik's Cube. So, let's get started. Okay, now assuming that you've memorized that algorithm, here is a cube scrambled. Now, like I said, the first step is to get a layer. So what I mean by that is not just like a face like this, but you also want these to be matching, so that's not good. However, this has white and blue, and this also has white and blue. So for example, you could bring this down, and then just one move from there, and you got it. Now, the next step, once you get a bar like this, is to do something called block building, where basically you add on top of that bar. Like for example, this has white and orange, this has white and orange, so I can bring it up like that to make a 3-pair like this. Also for this tutorial, I'm going to be using white because it's just the easiest color, it's the brightest color, and it just makes more sense. Lots of tutorials do that instead of other colors. But just so you know, you can do other colors if you want, but I'd recommend just starting on white and then getting used to doing all of the colors. So now we have a dilemma where we have a 3-bar here, these all match, and we need to bring this one up here. So we can't just bring it up. So we have to do something special, and it's just 3 moves. It's pretty simple. So what you do is this is on the right side. So what we do is we take this top part and we bring it away, and like we quote unquote hide it, and then we bring this up, and then we bring it back to make a full layer. So this is going to take some getting used to, but just play around with it and see what you can do. Now you might get a case where you have this. You have a 3-bar here, all of these are matching, and this one is down here. So if we bring it up like this, it's just misoriented. Well, this is where that algorithm comes into play, because if you do that algorithm twice, it might be oriented. If not, then just do it 2 more times. And you should get it. So obviously I can't show you every single case because that would take way too long for me to be able to have time for. But just play around with it. Use some tips, again, if it's misoriented like this, and just do the algorithm twice. or 4 times to get it to where white is all on top, and you will have a first layer. So just again, play around with it a bit, see what you can find, okay? Okay, so now that you're done with the first layer, again, if you need more time, then just pause the video, kind of what it's for. But now we're gonna move on into the second layer, and obviously this one's harder, so we're gonna be using some algorithms here. But for this next step, we want all of these to be matching. So for example, white, this is, ignore all of the yellow pieces. So this is blue and red, and this is blue and red. And you either want one of these to be matching or all 4 of them to be matching. So for example, this one has 1 match, this one doesn't match, this one doesn't match, this one doesn't match. Again, we're ignoring yellows because white and yellow are opposites. So we found 1 match, and just real quick, if you have 2 matches that are adjacent to each other, so like this one matches and this one matches, then just turn it until you have 1 match. Now when you get that 1 match, you want to do this algorithm, and it has a pretty neat rhythm to it that makes it a bit easier to remember. So you turn the top with your right hand and bring the right side up. Then you turn the top with your left hand and bring the left side up. Then you turn the top with your right hand and bring the right side down, and then turn the top with the left hand, left side down. Now basically what this algorithm does is it preserves this bar here, and all of these others switch. So again, I'm gonna do this one more time. So when you find a match, you wanna hold it on the top right front like this. And then you just do it once or twice, and you will notice that after 1 or 2 times that you will have all 4 of them matching. Now, if you do have all 4 of them matching by default, you have actually skipped this step, so good job, I guess. You might get a faster solve. And so once you get all 4 matching, you can move on to the next step. Now on this demo cube I have here, this one matches, and the opposite one matches as well. And if you bring it around to where the other 2 match, then you can just not have just 1 or all 4 that match. So what you do from here is you just hold it from anywhere, perform the algorithm, and now you will have just 1 match. So for example, this one doesn't, this one doesn't, this one doesn't. So now we can just do it as usual. Once or twice, as I've mentioned prior. So, once you're done with that little dilemma, in case if you have one, now let's move on to the final step. You are almost there. Alright, this last step is to obviously get all yellow on top. And what you want to do is you want to do that beginner's algorithm again. You want to hold an unsolved piece at the bottom right front. And then do the beginner's algorithm either 2 times or 4 times. So how I would do this is just do it twice and see if yellow's at the bottom. In this case, it isn't. So let's try it again. Now it is. And then what you want to do is, instead of rotating it, that'll mess up your whole cube. So what you want to do is turn it to where the next unsolved piece is at the bottom right front. And then just do the algorithm 2 times or 4 times, and it should be solved at that point. Now, here's a little tip. for the last step that I wish I learned before I moved on to more advanced methods. If you have two bars like this, like there's no, like yellow and white are opposite, so there's no white on top in this case. However, you have two of the opposite colors in a bar like this, and these two are facing the opposite way. Instead of just doing the algorithm a bunch of times, what you can do instead is you can turn the front clockwise like this, perform the algorithm 2 times, and then rotate this front face counterclockwise. Then it should be solved, assuming that you did the other 2 steps correctly. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll be making a lot more in the future. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. I'd really appreciate any constructive criticism you have to help me improve. And that's it for today's video. Bye.